Once upon a time, there lived a brother and sister named Hansel and Gretel. They were kind-hearted children who lived with their father and stepmother in a small house near the woods. Their family was poor, and food was often scarce. One night, their stepmother, feeling frustrated, said,
"There isn't enough food for all of us. We must take Hansel and Gretel deep into the forest and leave them there."
Hansel and Gretel overheard the plan, and though they were frightened, Hansel comforted his sister.
"Don't worry, Gretel.
He whispered.
Allah is with us, and we must trust Him."
That night, Hansel gathered small white stones and placed them in his pocket. Early the next morning, the stepmother led them deep into the forest. As they walked, Hansel dropped the stones along the way, quietly saying, "Bismillah," trusting that Allah would guide them back. After being left alone in the woods, Hansel and Gretel prayed together.
"O Allah, guide us back home safely."
Following the trail of stones, they made their way back to their house. Their father was overjoyed to see them, but the stepmother was angry and determined to get rid of them again. The next day, the stepmother took them even deeper into the forest. This time, Hansel couldn't gather any stones, so he used breadcrumbs instead. However, birds ate the crumbs, and Hansel and Gretel were truly lost. Gretel began to cry, but Hansel reminded her,
Remember, Gretel, Allah says in the Quran, "Verily, with hardship comes ease. Let's be patient and keep praying."
They prayed together for strength and guidance. As they wandered through the forest, they stumbled upon a strange house made entirely of sweets. Hungry and tired, they approached the house, and an old woman came out, inviting them inside.
"Come in, my dears.
She said sweetly.
You can eat as much as you like."
But Hansel and Gretel sensed something was wrong. They remembered a hadith that says, "Beware of what seems too good to be true." Despite their hunger, they remained cautious. However, before they could leave, the old woman locked them inside. She was a wicked witch who planned to harm them. Locked in the house, Hansel and Gretel prayed.
"O Allah, protect us from harm and give us a way out."
Days passed, and the witch forced Hansel to eat, trying to fatten him up. But Hansel was clever. Each time the witch checked to see if he was getting plumper, he held out a thin bone instead of his arm. The witch, who had poor eyesight, thought he was still too thin to eat. One day, the witch grew impatient and decided to cook Hansel anyway. She told Gretel to prepare the oven. Gretel, thinking quickly, said,
"I don't know how. Can you show me?"
Annoyed, the witch leaned into the oven to demonstrate. As she leaned forward, her poor eyesight caused her to misstep. She tripped on the edge of the oven, and before she could regain her balance, she fell and became trapped inside. Hansel and Gretel, knowing it was not their doing, thanked Allah for protecting them. With the witch no longer a threat, they hurriedly left the house. They found treasures hidden inside and carried some with them. With Allah's guidance, they soon found their way back home. Their father, who had missed them dearly, welcomed them with open arms. The stepmother had left, and the family was once again at peace. Hansel and Gretel had learned that no matter how dark or difficult life may seem, trusting in Allah and having patience will always lead to ease and safety. Allah's protection is with those who remain patient and steadfast. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to Raising Four Caliphs for more amazing adventures, lessons, and fun. See you next time.